What's up, my earth family, my heart and soul family? This is your brother Jeremiah, and I pray that you all have been well. Today, let me speak to you all about the SUN, the sun. All right. First, let me say that I really enjoy making these types of videos. I enjoy being out in nature as I record them and transmit them to you. And as I grow on my journey, I appreciate you for taking the time to journey with me, and I appreciate those of you that support me in this love movement, which is simply another way of saying love in motion. Again, thank you all for the love, and much love to you all. Okay, so I'm going to briefly touch on the topic of our heavenly sun. All right, growing up, I always saw NASA as the authority on space and the heavens. And like many of you, I believed whatever they put out as a fact. For instance, they say that your heavenly sun is a ball of fire, a ball of helium and hydrogen, a fire orb that is some 93 million miles away. Other than NASA saying this, how do you know that this is true? All right, ask yourself, how do you know that this is true? The ancients referred to the sun and the moon and the stars as simply luminaries. All right, and this I now know. All right, they also say, and they being NASA, that your heavenly sun spins on its axis in a counterclockwise motion, much like the lie they tell you about your Mother Earth being a spinning convex sphere. All right? They say that your heavenly sun is traveling at the speed of about 450,000 miles per hour. All right? They also say that your heavenly sun makes a full rotation at its equator and at the poles every 24 or 35 days or so, depending on whether they're talking about the poles or the equator. All right, this is what they say, okay? Fine. Let's go outside in nature, all right? And let's see with our own two God-given eyes and see the sun for what it really is, all right? Take a look, family. Does this so-called star or this sun look like it's 93 million miles away? Does it? Now, I'm not a professional scientist, so I don't profess to know it all. However, I'm not going to discount my two eyes either, no matter what NASA or any of you that want to try and discredit what I say, okay? And my eyes tell me that the sun, this sun, is not 93 million miles away, especially when I see the sun rays so bright and clear, especially when you consider the fact that the so-called rays of light are simply a reflection where the sun's light is reflecting off of clouds that are just a few miles up. In other words, family, NASA wants me and you to believe that the sun is 93 million miles away and still clearly see the sun's reflection off of the clouds of Earth, which are only a few miles up. All right? And as they tell it, the sun is 93 million miles away. This is what they want you and I to believe. They also say that your heavenly sun is traveling at 450,000 miles per hour around the galaxy, right? How fast does this sun look like it's moving? Does it even appear to be moving at all, family? Even when you
looking at this
see a plane, right, or a jet that's moving at high speeds through the sky, you can clearly see that the jet moving across the sky is moving at a certain speed, right? But yet we don't see the sun moving very fast across the sky, even though they say that the sun is moving at 450,000 miles per hour. All right? And as a side note, they want you and I to believe this based on first believing that the sun is 93 million miles away. Okay? Think, family, and see with your own eyes. They also say that this sun is a gas ball of fire, right? They say that the sun is a gas ball of helium and hydrogen, a plasma spinning ball. Well, let's take a close look at your heavenly sun, family. This is my own footage that I've taken with a regular camera phone. And these truths have been there in front of you for ages. But let NASA and their believers tell it, you shouldn't even believe your own two God-given eyes. And even without this camera, you can see what I'm saying to be true if you just look up every now and then. All right? Now, as we take a look at some of my personal footage of our heavenly sun, it does seem like we're looking at a fireball, right? This is simply a reflection. The sun is a lot closer and a lot smaller than what you have been led to believe. And I'm going to prove it to you today so that you can see it with your own eyes. I've researched around and looked for simple footage like this on the internet, but I don't see much. I'm sure they're out there, but I haven't seen many. On a day like this, where there's clouds out, you can clearly
Except
see
right.
the true hidden nature of your heavenly Son.
Reflection is
And
what
notice on this
refraction of
clip
light
that the
is.
sun seems like a large
Like the
gas
reflection
ball,
is.
but not like NASA tells it. Again, they say that the sun is 2,713,406 miles round fireball. All right? Well, you tell me if
It's
this is the
behind that
case,
dark
family,
cloud
because
right now, see?
NASA will show you some dazzling photos of
That's your sun.
computer-generated images of a fireball.
About the same
So I
size
want you
as
to
the
pay
moon looks
close
like.
attention to the sun and what you are actually
when it went
seeing
behind
when you
that
look
white
at the
cloud,
sun in these clips.
it illuminated.
Notice as the sun seems to remove itself from behind the clouds, or as the clouds move from in front of the sun. Notice how the sun seems to have a smaller size now that is not behind the clouds, right? Now pay close attention. As you witness the true nature of your heavenly Son in size comparison to what you thought you just saw, the sun disk, as you watch it, it seems to seek the clouds for cover in order to illuminate a brighter light. Notice how when the sun disk dips behind the white clouds, it illuminates brighter and larger. And as it seems to pass through the darker clouds, it doesn't illuminate much at all. And you can clearly peer at this disk with the naked eye without harm or injury to your eyes. Now, with your own eyes, as you've witnessed the sun disk, does your heavenly Son appear to be traveling or spinning at 450,000 miles per hour? Moving on. Now, as you'll notice, the sun disk in its true form, do you see or notice any fire prominences like NASA so beautifully illustrates in their wonderful computer-generated images of what they want you to believe is your heavenly Son? Do you? Where's the fire, family? It's only when the disk is behind the white clouds, or when the sun is out in the open with little to no clouds around. And they say when the sun is out that you should not look directly at the sun. This is a trick, family. So many of us have become accustomed to not looking at the sun at all, or even want to even look at the sun, because they have placed the fear in you to not even look at the sun at all when it's shining bright, or even when it's cloudy. That was the trick they played on us, family. And many of us have never even wanted to look at the sun, even on the cloudy days when I just showed you that you can safely look directly at the sun at the right time. The point I'm making here, family, is that just because they say that your heavenly Son is 93 million miles away, just because they say that your heavenly Son is rotating on its axis at over 4,000 miles per hour, just because they say that your heavenly Son is over 2 million miles round in circumference, doesn't mean that it's true. And the answers have been in front of you the entire time. It's just that many of us refuse to use what the Most High blessed us with, and that's our own two eyes. And as I showed you before, your Son, your heavenly Son, is clearly not 93 million miles away. Your heavenly Son is clearly not over 2 million miles round in circumference. Your heavenly Son is clearly not spinning at its axis, and neither is your Mother Earth, family. Peace be still, and stop all the lies, y'all, and the confusion that they say. This is your brother Jeremiah, and until next time, peace, love, and blessings upon you all.
What is that? The moon? Or is there two sons? One, two. Three. Did I see three distinct orbs? There's one big one. See that one orb? One, two. Hmm.